Fancy little rings. I started by learning hard surface modeling in Blender and creating a whole box of wallets and doodads that I printed in a 3D printer. Then I jumped to Krita to brush up on my drawing skills, creating many portraits. I really enjoyed using the reference images feature and its impact on the color picker. What a surprise that was! I returned to Blender to learn to sculpt. I really appreciate the huge range of sculpting tools, and I feel right at home now. Then time came for geometry nodes. Woo! And I created a procedural box with self-generating hinges and a couple of test rings. With all these powers combined, I felt ready to create my first Captain Planet and the Planeteers ring. When I was working in Krita, I came across a Baroque Kitbash. I can't tell you exactly what a kitbash is because I have to look it up the second time. But it's a collection of things, of parts that you fit together. And this afternoon, I spent $5 on 150 very neat Baroque decorations. They all appear to be handmade, and I hope the author is feeling well. I left the highest of ratings. I performed my first import of third-party artwork today, and it being handmade required very little tweaking. Set origin, geometry to origin, and reset position, rotation, and tweak scale. I imported the FBX files. There were no blend files or Blender native files. I am still learning Blender, and who doesn't say that these days? So I immediately jumped to using the lattice modifier. I set the resolution of my lattice to 4. You will find settings in the right-hand pane, right where geometry stuff is at. And I tested to see if the mirror modifier can work too, to mirror the decoration across the ring. It did, it was crazy. I made several real cat noises. But in the end, I added too much and the Boolean operations did not work correctly, meaning I can't fuse the ring's geometry into a single object without causing trouble. This is okay. I really like the design of this ring, so I'll bring it back in the next version of the ring. I really like those wings on the front, and the flowers are pretty neat too. The way to achieve stable geometry is, as always, to keep things simple. All the shapes that are imported must lay flat at 0. Then you may use the lattice modifier to distort the entire arrangement around a ring. Here you can use a linked copy or duplicate and reuse the arrangement on multiple sized rings or bracelets. I additionally recommend the use of the mirror modifier so that you will only ever need to work on one side of the ring. This is something I only did for the little flowers. I copied the 3 items on the side of the ring by hand, but please don't do that, as decorations always need adjustments, and now they require the same adjustment on the other side. Even though you are just adding a minus sign, it is annoying and error-prone. In the end, you should only have one Boolean operation and one source of potential problems to fix if the union operation fails, as far as simple rings are concerned. Yeah, and then if you run into trouble, just return to your original motif arrangement and make your repairs there. It's all in one spot and it's all sitting flat. In closing, I must say that this ring does not have enough complexity for a 3D modeled ring. It needs flowers everywhere and all around. It needs so many little crazy flowers that if a jeweler had to recreate this by hand, it would take many months and a lot of patience. If you are just starting out with creating jewelry in Blender, simply loosely recreate the Captain Planet cartoon and Dark Souls game rings. It should be a lot of fun and lots of practice.